Welcome back to the channel. USA Coins 69, paper, yet hiding a story so valuable that it could change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of the United States 1-cent Lincoln penny from the year 1979 with mint marks that carry surprising value and a history that is both intriguing and mysterious. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny, a small copper-colored coin that has circulated in millions across the country. But when you take a closer look, this coin tells us so much more than what meets the eye. The Lincoln penny has been one of the most iconic and longest-running coin series in American history. Introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, it was the very first U.S. coin to feature a real person, breaking away from the classical symbols of liberty that dominated designs before. By the time 1979 rolled around, the Lincoln cent had already seen decades of changes, including the transition from the original wheat reverse design to the now familiar Lincoln Memorial on the back, which had been introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. If you look closely at a 1979 penny, you'll notice Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front, facing right, with the word Liberty to the left, the date, 1979, to the right, and just above, the proud motto, In God We Trust. Flip it over and you'll see the detailed Lincoln Memorial, where if you look carefully, you can even spot a tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside, making it one of the few coins in the world where you can find a person featured on both the obverse and reverse. Now, the year 1979 might not stand out to most collectors immediately, but what makes these pennies special is their mint marks and the subtle variations that can make a huge difference in value. The mint mark tells us where the coin was produced. If you see a small D below the date, that means it came from the Denver Mint. An S indicates the San Francisco Mint, which typically struck proof coins with higher detail and mirror-like finishes. And if you notice there is no mint mark at all, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. Each mint location produced millions of these pennies, but as collectors know, the details matter. A coin's grade, its strike quality, its errors, and even small doubling in the lettering can transform a coin from being worth just 1 cent into something worth thousands of dollars. Among the 1979 Lincoln pennies, what collectors hunt for are error coins and high-grade examples. Errors can include things like double die obverse, where letters or numbers appear doubled, off-center strikes where the design isn't properly aligned, or coins struck on the wrong planchet altogether. These mistakes are rare, and when they do slip through the minting process, they become treasures. For example, a simple doubling on the word Liberty or the date can skyrocket the value. Similarly, a 1979 penny with an extremely sharp strike, no scratches, and a perfect red luster preserved in mint state condition can fetch a premium price at auctions. Collectors often grade these coins on the Sheldon scale, ranging from poor condition at the bottom to gem mint state at the top. A penny from 1979 graded at MS 65 or higher can already be worth much more than face value, but when combined with a rare error or special feature, the price shoots through the roof. Let's also consider the context of 1979 in coinage. This was just before the major change in 1982, when the composition of pennies shifted from mostly copper to a copper-plated zinc core due to rising copper prices. That means 1979 pennies are still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them not only collectible value but also intrinsic metal value. While a single coin doesn't carry much copper weight, large quantities are sought after by investors as well. This adds another layer of interest to 1979 pennies, as they represent the final years of true copper coinage before the big shift in the early 80s. But the real excitement comes when we talk about the rarest and most valuable 1979 Lincoln pennies ever discovered. Some have been sold at auctions for astonishing amounts, simply because of their unique traits and pristine condition. Collectors around the world constantly search through pocket change, old jars, and inherited coin collections hoping to stumble upon one of these gems. Imagine the thrill of finding a coin that looks ordinary but turns out to be an extremely rare error strike or a flawless proof that commands the attention of serious collectors and auction houses. It's this possibility that keeps the hunt alive for so many enthusiasts. Today, date, 1982. What makes this year so special is that the 1982 Lincoln penny is one of the most fascinating coins in all of American coinage history. It may seem like just another cent, but certain 1982 pennies with a mint mark are considered extremely valuable, and some collectors would pay thousands to own them. That's why this coin has become legendary among collectors and treasure hunters who dream of finding one in their pocket change. The year 1982 was a year of major transition for the United States Mint. Before 1982, pennies were made mostly of copper, but rising costs forced the mint to switch to zinc with just a thin copper plating. This sudden change means that 1982 pennies were struck in both compositions, copper and zinc, and in several different varieties. Some of these varieties include small date and large date designs, as well as different mint marks like D for Denver and S for San Francisco proof coins. This makes the 1982 penny unique because it is the only year in U.S. history where you can find so many different variations of the same coin. And with rarity comes value. Collectors are always hunting for the most desirable combinations. For example, the copper small date varieties are highly sought after. If you happen to have a 1982 penny with a mint mark and it's in excellent condition, its value can skyrocket far beyond 1 cent. Condition is everything in the coin world. Coins graded as uncirculated or mint state with sharp details, luster, and know wear are the ones that bring the highest prices at auctions. Some rare 1982 pennies have stunned collectors by selling for thousands of dollars, proving that even the smallest coin can hold massive treasure. When it comes to the mint marks, they play an important role too. A D beneath the date shows it was minted in Denver, while a plain 1982 penny with no mint mark came from Philadelphia. Proof coins with an S mint mark were struck in San Francisco, often in very limited numbers with beautiful mirrored finishes. Finding one of these in untouched condition can be like striking gold. Imagine pulling a penny from your change and realizing it is a rare 1982 variety. Suddenly that tiny coin could be worth more than you ever thought possible. Another factor that makes this penny fascinating is its story within American history. The 1982 penny symbolizes change, literally and figuratively, as it marked the end of an era of copper coinage in the United States. For over 170 years, pennies had been struck in copper, and in 1982, the mint said goodbye to tradition and welcomed zinc. This is why collectors treat 1982 pennies as a milestone, and certain mint-marked coins from this year are cherished as historic artifacts. Every collector wants one in their set, but only a few lucky people manage to find the rarest ones. So if you come across a 1982 Lincoln penny with a mint mark, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Check whether it's a small date or large date, test the metal composition, and carefully study its condition. Who knows? You may be holding on to a coin that could change your life. These coins are not just pieces of pocket change, they're pieces of history that can be worth a fortune when the right combination of rarity and condition come together. Today, as you sift through quarters, nickels, and dimes, your eyes land on a dark brown penny. You flip it over and see the date, 1978. At first, it seems like just another ordinary cent, the kind you'd use without thinking. But what if I told you that some 1978 Lincoln cents with mint marks are not only rare, but so valuable that collectors would pay tens of thousands of dollars to own one? Suddenly, that 1-cent coin doesn't look so ordinary anymore. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, first designed to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. By the time 1978 rolled around, the Lincoln penny was already a familiar face in the pockets of millions of Americans. These coins were still struck from copper, unlike later pennies, which would be made of zinc after 1982. That means a 1978 penny carries not just a small piece of copper but also a piece of American history, as it belongs to the last generation of true copper cents before change swept through U.S. coinage. Now, what makes the 1978 penny so fascinating isn't just its age or its copper composition, but the mint marks and conditions that create real treasure out of what most people see as small change. Coins struck in Philadelphia carry no mint mark at all, coins from Denver have a D beneath the date, and coins from San Francisco carry the S mint mark, mostly for proofs. While billions of pennies were struck in 1978, only a small number survived in pristine, untouched condition. Those coins are where collectors' dreams begin. Imagine a coin from 1978 that has never been spent, never been scratched, and still shines with the original luster from the day it was minted. Such coins are graded as mint state, and in the higher grades, their value can rise dramatically. A sharp strike, strong detail, and clean surfaces can turn a coin that most people see as a penny into a treasure worth thousands. And when rare mint mark varieties are added into the mix, the excitement only grows. Collectors also chase errors from this year, double die strikes, off-center strikes, and other minting mistakes that make a coin unique. A Lincoln cent with an unusual error instantly becomes more desirable, because collectors know it's one of a kind. Combine a 1978 mint-marked penny in great condition with an error, and you're talking about a coin that could become the highlight of any collection. But beyond the condition and mint marks, there's the story these coins tell. A penny from 1978 is more than just metal, it's a snapshot of American life in that year. Think about it, 1978 was a time when gas cost less than $1, when technology was just beginning to change the way people lived, and when millions of these little copper coins were passed through hands every single day. To hold one now, decades later, is to hold a piece of that history. That is why collectors are so passionate about finding the rarest and most beautiful examples. They are not just buying a coin, they are preserving a story. But what if I told you that this very same penny, depending on its mint mark, condition, and rarity, could actually be worth more than most people's annual salary? Suddenly, that tiny piece of copper isn't just a penny, it's a potential life-changing treasure. The year 1976 holds a special place in American history. It was the bicentennial year, the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. The United States Mint produced unique designs for quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins to celebrate the nation's 200th birthday. But here's the twist: while the Lincoln penny didn't get a special design that year, the regular 1976 pennies became linked to the bicentennial era. Millions of people saved them as souvenirs, never realizing that some of these seemingly ordinary coins would one day carry values that far exceeded their face value. These 1976 Lincoln cents were struck in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If you find a penny with no mint mark, it came from Philadelphia. If it has a small D beneath the date, it was minted in Denver. And if you see an S, it means the coin was struck in San Francisco, with many of those being proof coins made for collectors. Though billions were produced, condition is everything. A coin fresh from the mint, untouched by circulation, can shine with brilliant luster and sharp details, making it far more desirable than one that has been passed from hand to hand for decades. Now let's talk about why some 1976 pennies are so incredibly valuable. For one, they were still made of copper, 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them a rich, distinct look that collectors admire. But the real value comes when you combine rarity, condition, and sometimes even errors. For example, a penny with a strong double die, or one that was struck off-center, instantly becomes unique and highly collectible. Imagine holding a coin that no one else in the world has in exactly the same form. That uniqueness is what collectors will pay big money for. Think of it this way: a normal penny might have passed through vending machines, piggy banks, and countless hands. But a pristine 1976 penny, stored away untouched for decades, could still look brand new, with sharp lines on Lincoln's portrait and clear details on the Lincoln Memorial. Those qualities make it a candidate for high grades by professional coin grading services. And the higher the grade, the higher the value. Collectors compete fiercely for these coins because finding one in near-perfect condition from over 40 years ago is no easy task. It's also important to remember the emotional value tied to bicentennial-era coins. Many collectors want to build complete sets of coins from 1976 as a way of preserving that historic year. That demand alone drives prices up, especially for coins that stand out as the very best examples. And when a penny from this year has a special mint mark or rare variation, its price can skyrocket at auction. Imagine digging through your pocket change, maybe you're about to grab a soda or pay for something small, and your eyes fall on a penny dated 1975. To most people, it's just another coin, barely worth a glance. But to collectors and treasure hunters, that tiny copper piece could be a doorway to a world of history, rarity, and in some cases, unbelievable value. What's so special about a 1975 Lincoln penny, you might wonder? Well, let's take a journey through its story, because what seems ordinary at first can sometimes be worth a fortune. The 1970s were an important era for American coinage. The Lincoln cent had already been around for decades, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. By 1975, it had become a familiar part of everyday life, something everyone used without thinking twice. Yet, each of these coins tells a story, and every date carries its own little slice of American history. The 1975 Lincoln penny in particular stands out because of when and how it was produced. Unlike the quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins of 1976, which were given a special bicentennial design for America's 200th birthday, the penny kept its traditional look. That means the 1975 penny is the last cent struck before the United States celebrated its bicentennial year, making it a transitional piece between two important chapters of coinage history. Now, let's talk about the mint marks. If your 1975 penny has no mint mark at all, that means it was struck in Philadelphia. A tiny D beneath the date means it came from the Denver Mint, while an S indicates San Francisco, where proof coins were carefully made for collectors. These mint marks play a huge role in determining value, because some locations produced far fewer coins than others. And while billions of pennies were made overall, very few survive today in pristine, untouched condition. Those few are the ones that can command truly staggering prices, but mint marks aren't the only thing collectors look for. Errors and variations make coins even more desirable. A double die error, where the design looks doubled because of a misalignment during minting, can turn a simple penny into a rare treasure. Off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, or even small imperfections invisible to most people can make all the difference to collectors who crave something unique. Just imagine holding a coin that slipped through the cracks of perfection, an error that makes it one of a kind, sought after by serious buyers willing to pay top dollar. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. A 1975 penny that has been spent, dropped, and carried around for nearly 50 years might still be worth only face value. But if you find one that's bright, sharp, and nearly flawless, its value rises dramatically. Professional grading services often rate coins on a 70-point scale, and those that achieve the highest grades, meaning almost perfect condition, are the ones that catch the attention of top collectors. These coins are treated almost like works of art, preserved as historical treasures rather than pocket change. What makes the 1975 penny even more exciting is the nostalgia tied to it. Many collectors are drawn to coins from the 1970s because they remember using them in their own childhood. That emotional connection adds to the demand, and when demand meets rarity, prices can climb quickly. Auctions sometimes reveal just how passionate collectors are, with bidding wars pushing the value of a seemingly small coin far beyond what anyone might expect. So, the next time you see a 1975 Lincoln penny, don't just toss it into your change jar. Take a moment to study it. Look closely for the mint mark, examine its condition, and check if there might be any unusual features that make it stand out. Remember, the difference between an ordinary penny and a valuable one can come down to the tiniest details, details that most people overlook every day. And here's the part that makes coin hunting so exciting: one of the rarest 1975 Lincoln pennies with a mint mark, kept in near perfect condition, has been valued at an astonishing $100,000 in words.